Hey there, today we're gonna make a gluten-free apple crisp recipe without oats. You might be like me and just can't tolerate oats very well, or maybe you just don't like the oats, or maybe you know someone who is gluten-free and you just wanna make this wonderful apple crisp for them because it is autumn right now. I don't know when you're watching this video, but right now it's autumn. And this is the time to make apple crisp. I was first challenged to do this recipe because I have multiple children who cannot do gluten. I struggle with gluten as well as the oats and apple crisp, but I love apple crisp. And so I did not want to give that up, especially during this time of year when apples are in abundance. We love to pick apples on our tree, and we will go out this time of year every year to go get our apples and make it into applesauce, into apple pie filling, all that good stuff. But this year we didn't have a lot of apples, so we ended up going to a neighbor's and picked a lot of apples off of their property, with permission of course. And unfortunately, you'll notice in this video that my apples do have a lot of worms in them, and so I'm gonna have to cut those out. But honestly, it doesn't matter. The apples are still good, just take the wormy parts out if you have wormy apples too. Fresh apples off of the tree are so good and such a gift for this time of year. So if you have them, use them. Just cut out the worms. You can see the complete recipe for this video at my blog. You can look at that in the information box below. Just follow that to the blog post and you can find the complete recipe for this video. And if you have not yet, I would love it if you could subscribe to this channel and like the video. That helps because a lot more people are able to see the videos then, and it circulates around YouTube a lot more as people are liking and subscribing to the channel. So thank you for doing that. Let's get started. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my apples. This is gonna be more of a casual video, and so you're just gonna walk along with me while I'm doing this. I have apples in the sink. I've got my cutting board here, and I'll take you over to the stove in a minute, and we're gonna mix up some caramely style filling that's gonna go along in our apples. So let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna want about 6 cups of apples for this recipe. And I like to get them cut pretty thinly. These ones are apples that I just picked off of the tree up in our field. I was out for a jog this morning and I decided afterwards, I did not have the family here with me at the time, and so I was gonna just walk up the field and kind of cool down with a little stroll up the field. And I saw that there were apples on the tree that I could reach. And so I picked a few of them and I tried biting into one, and they tasted so good. And so I brought them down and I'm gonna use some of them. Someone's probably gonna complain about me cutting towards myself. I know it. Cinnamon. Use about a tablespoon of cinnamon in here. If you get a little bit more than that, that's fine. I don't like having too little cinnamon, but I'm okay with a lot of cinnamon as long as it's like not overly spicy. It's got to have enough sweetness to go with it. 1/4 cup each cassava and coconut sugar, or you can just use brown sugar, or you could use sucanat, however you say that. And I like to lean towards having too many apples rather than too little apples. So, you know, if it calls for 6 cups apples, it's okay if 7 cups gets in there, because when you're cutting up fruit, it makes it easier to know that you've got enough if you aim for too much fruit rather than too little fruit. So we're really pretty much just making a caramel sauce, which sounds really good to go with apples, right? Caramel and apples. Who doesn't like caramel and apples? And this is going to go, of course, with the apples. So just stir it together. I have my stove on kind of low medium, so you don't want it too high, but it really will go quickly. This is almost done and it's only been a couple minutes. So we're gonna bring it over and put it with our apples. Okay, so I put the pot of our little caramel sauce right here so it can cool off. I've got the apples here, and we're gonna work on our flour mixture, which is the topping. So it will be pretty crumbly. It is more of a crumble than a crisp because you don't have the oats in it. If you want it to be a little bit more, have more of a crunch inside of it, you can always grind up nuts so that they're not quite so fine. You saw me in the video, I was grinding up pecans, but just make sure that you're not grinding them up so finely, and you'll have a little bit more of a crunch in there. Types of apples, the best types of apples to use. Some of my favorites are Granny Smith apples. That's what my mom always used when I was little. She would always get Granny Smith apples. If I saw a ton of Granny Smith apples in the fridge, I would be like, oh, are you making apple crisp? Because she just loved to do that. And so that's a really good one. Another is Honey Crisp. I love Honey Crisp apples. And these are Jonagold. That's also a great variety. So there's really several varieties that you could use. The key is that you want it to have tartness with the sweetness. So say like a Red Delicious, that one doesn't really have that tart flavor in it. So not quite the best for making things like apple pies and apple crisps unless you combine it with some other apples that might have a little bit more of a tart flavor. I would love to hear how this goes for you. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out some of the other videos we've done. I love doing bread recipes. Check out my bagels. My overnight sourdough einkorn bagels are just so good, especially as the weather is cooling off for autumn. We love to make those. All right, that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoy this. Get a big scoop of vanilla ice cream to go with it, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. So I'm gonna get another bowl right here. I'm gonna stretch over there. No. Shoot.